And Chris Colabello said he didn't want to roll over on a pitch, wanted to stay on it, and that he did. He just bounces it through the drawn in infield. 2-run single, and the Blue Jays won a big game against Seattle and now have a chance to win this series and have a winning road trip.
Looking for a 4-2 road trip with a win here this afternoon. Colabello delivering the decisive 2-run single in the 9th inning. Let's take a look at the Blue Jays lineup. For John Gibbons, Jose Reyes, top of the order, has been a hot hitter of late. 16 games. He's hit .333 with 5 doubles and 7 RBIs. He's had a decent road trip, 6 for 21 on the road swing. Russell Martin has had a great road trip. Martin on this road trip, 7 for 14, a .500 average with a pair of home runs and 6 RBIs. Russell swinging a hot bat, and they're going to need that today against the big right-hander, Taijuan Walker.
Just 22 years old is Taijuan Walker. In 19 starts, he's 7-7 with a .506 earned run average. This is his 3rd career start versus the Blue Jays. They beat him up in Toronto back on June the 24th. He only pitched 5 2/3 innings, and the Mariners lost that game 8-2 to the Blue Jays. He's been roughed up lately. 15 1/3 innings, 16 earned runs over his last 3 starts. That's a big difference from where he started. He had 5 straight starts, going 5-0 with 36 strikeouts and just 2 walks.
Defensively, a little different look in the outfield. Franklin Gutierrez came into the game as a pinch hitter in last night's game. It's Jackson and Cruz in center and right. Kyle Seager, Brad Miller, left side of the infield. Chris Taylor and Mark Trumbo on the right side, and Mike Zunino, the regular catcher, back behind the plate.
That's Franklin Gutierrez in left field. He's a Gold Glove winner. The Mariners had at least one player win a Gold Glove for 24 consecutive seasons, 1987 through 2010. Gutierrez and Ichiro won the Gold Gloves in 2010. It's pretty
amazing. A lot to do with Ken Griffey Jr. as well.
And Ichiro, who had 10.
Reyes takes his strike. It's a ball and a strike to the Blue Jays leadoff hitter. 284 for the season. Mentioned his great stretch last 16 games. He's hit .333. Gets underneath this one and lifts it high into the air on the infield. The shortstop, Brad Miller, makes the catch. 1 up, 1 down for Taijuan Walker. So Josh Donaldson will step in. Donaldson hasn't fared well for his career against the Mariners. He talks about this tough pitching staff. Look at his career average, 154 in 53 career games against Seattle. Takes a fastball outside for a ball. Taijuan Walker will throw a lot of fastballs, and Blue Jays, of course, a very good fastball hitting team.
Yeah, get used to that this afternoon from Taijuan Walker. He will use that big fastball. Basically a fastball changeup type of pitcher. He just hasn't developed that 3rd pitch yet as a starter. That breaking ball, I think, that he needs to be a consistent winner.
Pitches out of that abbreviated windup. See David Price, Chris Tillman, 2 starters that utilize this type of windup.
Sonny Gray, we saw him on this road trip pitch out of the same way. It's almost like a pitcher pitching out of the stretch. You can see he's got his back, his front shoulder turned. Very little movement.
Donaldson high and deep to left. The Blue Jays leading 1-0. A no-doubter to left for Donaldson, his 2nd home run of the road trip. Number 24 for the Blue Jays 3rd baseman.
Told you that Taijuan Walker will throw a lot of fastballs, and this team, the Blue Jays, throw out there today can turn on any fastball. I don't care how hard it is. They can hit the fastball. 94, 95 miles an hour, and Donaldson turned on that one.
What a great start for a Sunday afternoon game. Bautista, he drills it to center field. Jackson on the warning track. He hauls it in. Bautista just missed going back to back.
I tell you, you better start changing up and getting the ball down and maybe mixing in a breaking ball, because if you see these types of pitches with this right-handed power, you're going to be out there very short. It's going to be a short afternoon as Donaldson turns on that one. That's the 100th run the Blue Jays have scored this month in July.
Donaldson now atop the American League in RBIs with 67. He has tied the Mariners' Mark Teixeira The Mariners, Nelson Cruz, and the Yankees Mark Teixeira with 24 home runs, tied for 4th in the American League.
That had some good sound to it, didn't it? Wow.
He squared it up, and Encarnacion fouls it out.
You know, you can't constantly keep pounding fastballs to these guys. They're just good fastball hitting players.
Popped over our head out of play into the upper deck. Now the Blue Jay fans have something to cheer for early on here this afternoon, and there's a lot of them here. Mike Zunino going to the mound to talk to Taijuan Walker. Didn't like something about that last pitch, and Encarnacion's upset he missed that pitch.
That one was right there in his home run swing. He missed it. Whenever you see a hitter foul a ball straight back like that, he's right on it.
1-2, 2 outs. Hot shot to the hole. Miller takes his time. Long throw. The inning is over. But how about the Blue Jays? A fast start on Sunday afternoon in Seattle. Josh Donaldson, the second batter of the ball game, gets a fastball that he likes and hammers it over the wall in left. The Blue Jays lead it 1-0. 24 home runs for Donaldson. Lineup for Floyd McClendon: Austin Jackson, Kyle Seager, Nelson Cruz, then Robinson Cano. Cano is riding a 6-game hit streak, 10 for 24, starting to heat up a bit, bumped his average up. And then Mark Trumbo playing at first base today because he's got good numbers against Mark Burley, 6 for 12 with 3 home runs and 5 RBIs against the Blue Jays starter.
Burley gets ready for his 20th start of the season. 11-5, 323 earned run average. He has been on a nice roll. We talked about that in the opening. He has now faced 114 batters without a walk. Last time he walked a batter was June 26th, 7th inning against Rougned Odor.
There's a drive to left field. Carrera is back, and just like that, it's a tie game. Austin Jackson, his 5th home run of the season. The Blue Jays and Mariners have exchanged home runs here in the first.
You know, that is another thing that Mark Burley has done. He has kept the ball in the ballpark. He hasn't walked a batter since June 26th, hadn't given up a home run since June the 26th. Austin Jackson struggling at the top of that lineup, gets him going quickly. A ball that's up and in. You normally see that cutter on the inside part of the plate. That time it stayed over the middle.
Jackson's first career home run against Mark Burley. Kyle Seager's got a 5-game hit streak.
Last home run that Mark gave up was to Prince Fielder in that same game where he gave up the last walk.
Seager drives it to right. That's going to get down for a base hit. Home run single for the Mariners to start this game against Mark Burley.
Mark Burley has been really good against right-handed batters by getting that cutter inside. It starts to go inside. You see Jackson pull his hands through that baseball, but it's just not in enough. He gets the big part of the bat on the baseball, sends it out of here for his 5th home run.
Well, we know Mark Burley's not going to be rattled by giving up a first inning home run. We saw him give up 4 runs to the Twins in the first inning, and he threw a complete game. 1-1 ball game. This is Nelson Cruz. Cruz, like Seager, has a 5-game hit streak. He goes after the first pitch. Cruz has been a hot hitter. He's had multiple hits in 3 of his last 4 games. He's got 34 multi-hit games for the season. It's a high fly ball into right field. Bautista moves over. Makes the catch. Seager's going back to tag, and Bautista will get the ball back in quickly. 1 down. Well, Mark Burley's been on quite a roll. You go back to his last 9 starts. Impressive across the board for Burley.
That earned run average at 1.52. That leads the American League. Very stingy. He's been throwing a lot of strikes. He hasn't been walking anybody. He's kept the ball in the ballpark. And look at the pitches per inning, just 13. That's pounding the strike zone.
He does it with all of his pitches. He's anxious to pitch to contact. This is Robinson Cano. He is the DH this afternoon. Takes a strike from Burley. Cano's got 3 career home runs against the Blue Jays lefty. Mariners have 4 hitters in their lineup with hit streaks of 5 games or more. Cano has a 6-gamer going. You notice the Mariners uniforms today on Sunday. They have the throwback uniforms going back to the early days of the Mariners.
I like them.
Yeah, they look good. Oh, he's got him. Yes, sir. Mark Burley, pickoff number 101. Seager leaning ever so slightly towards second.
His best pickoff move in baseball right there. He just lifts that leg, and as a runner it looks like he's going to home, and then he just bends it, and you can see Seager was out there leaning towards second base, and then he's caught in no man's land as he is tagged out before he gets to the bag.
He sure is. You can see his fingers were still in the air over the base before when Smoke put the tag on him. 2 down now. There's a strike. A 1-2.
2 perfect pitches right there to Robinson Cano.
Burley set a record last time out when he pitched at Oakland. Franchise record. 9 straight games, 6 or more innings pitched, less than 2 earned runs allowed. He snapped a tie with Dave Steve and Roger Clemens for the franchise mark. Cano pulls it foul.
Pitched around a lot of base runners in that ball game, but that's what he's going to do. He's going to pitch contact. He's not going to walk anybody. He's not going to have high strikeout totals. He's going to make you hit him to beat him.
Line to right. Bautista is there, and the inning is over. So the Blue Jays and the Mariners both get first inning home runs. We played an inning at Safeco Field. 1-1's the score.
Market regular season game live are in demand in True HD, real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch track widget, and much more. MLB.TV Premium also includes a free at-bat 15 subscription. Watch baseball at home, at the office, or on the go. Season-long subscription packages are available. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. And a look at the at-bat app today, guys. The Yankees are not doing the Blue Jays any favors at all, are they?
The Yankees aren't too concerned about the Blue Jays right now. They're winning 7-1. No Alex Rodriguez in the game. He's probably tired. He had 3 home runs last night.
He was jogging a lot, wasn't he?
Smoke drills it into right. Gets a base hit against that shift. Second baseman Chris Taylor was way out in right field, but Smoke hit it hard right past him.
Tell you, why wait around? If you're a fastball hitting club, and Justin Smoke in particular, your fastball hitter, the first one you get, it's going to be right there. Look at that swing. Compact, stays together, head down, and he goes through that one. Just can't get the ball airborne, but he'll take the base hit.
Smoke spent part of 5 seasons with the Mariners. This is Russell Martin. We mentioned his great road trip numbers. He's 7 for 14 on this road trip. A couple of homers. 1 for 3 against Taijuan Walker in his career. Missed with that first pitch changeup downstairs. Russell has done a terrific job of driving the ball to right field, and has allowed him to get on this great stretch.
You know, and this is the perfect pitcher to do just that. A guy who throws a lot of fastballs. They're going to keep the ball away from him. I think you can just take that cutter or the breaking ball. That's his third pitch on top of the fastball and the changeup, and just eliminate it until he proves that he can throw it over for strikes and do something with it. As you see, the hits by directions for Martin, and look for that fastball. Look for it away.
A pitch that is foul off the third base side of home plate. Martin behind the plate again this afternoon has really done a great job. He's been dealing with some leg issues, and it's not unusual for a catcher. This is the Blue Jays' 100th game today, and he has been the regular catcher. Inside, they're trying to work him over inside. They've seen Martin's numbers on this road trip and how he has hit the ball so well to right field, so they're trying to counteract that.
Trying to get him to roll over on that ball, meaning just get out in front just a little bit. Trying to hit the ground ball. That's where he's got to stay disciplined.
Well, he takes one inside and drops it inside the foul line. Smoke is being stopped now at third. It took a long time for Gutierrez to get the ball out of the left field corner. Rivera was way down the line thinking about sending Smoke home, but Gutierrez finally dug it out and threw it back in. Martin has a double. Back-to-back hits here in the second.
You know, when you're looking for the ball away and you get the ball on the inside part of the plate, all you have to do is react. And I think that's what Russell does right there. He just pulls the hands in. He's a little bit quick. You can see how long it takes Gutierrez to get that ball out of the corner. Justin Smoke sees that ball's in that corner. He's thinking about scoring, but with nobody out, you're not going to have a guy thrown out at the plate, so he holds him up.
196 doubles now for the Blue Jays. And that keeps the pitcher in a jam. This is Ezequiel Carrera, who had the pinch hit 2-run home run in the 8th in yesterday's game against Fernando Rodney.
First pitch breaking ball to Carrera. Interesting.
Cut on and missed. 1-1 to Carrera. The pinch hit home run was the third the Blue Jays have hit this season. Edwin Encarnacion and Danny Valencia have the other 2. It was Carrera's. They called him for a balk. Taijuan Walker commits the balk, and the Blue Jays take the lead. Justin Smoke coming in to score the go-ahead run.
You know, we told you he pitches basically out of the stretch when he's the whole game, when he's supposed to be in the windup, so that should never happen when you actually are in the stretch and when you've got runners on base.
Up the middle, that's a base hit. Russell Martin will come in to score. Carrera with the RBI single. single, double, walk, single. 2 runs in this inning.
Let's go to set the pitching coach Rick Waits out to the mound right now. I told you that Taijuan Walker has been getting lit up lately. His last 3 starts versus Detroit twice and the Los Angeles Angels, 15 in the 3rd inning, 16 earned runs. Let's see what he does as the balk. He's okay there. And there's a little tilt right there.
Yeah.
A little bit of a movement. And then the hit, you got the infield, and this is a lot like Colabello's hit last night, where you got the infield in and a well-placed ground ball finds a hole. Martin can trot home.
Well, you mentioned Taijuan Walker's struggles over his last 3 starts. He comes into this game with a .939 earned run average over those 3 starts, and opponents have hit .313 against him.
And that's coming off, Buck, 5 starts where he was great in those 5 starts. He went 5-0 with an ERA of 1.6. He joined Felix Hernandez as 2 of the 3 American League pitchers to win 5 consecutive starts this season.
There are the numbers we were talking about over those 3 starts. 5 home runs. He's already given up a home run this afternoon to Josh Donaldson. Nobody out. Kevin Pillar, on this road trip, he's gone 5 for 19. He hasn't driven in a run. He's scored 1. Inside. The Blue Jays do such a great job when they sense a pitcher's struggling with his control. They don't chase bad pitches.
Yeah, you hear it all the time. Don't help him out. Well, they don't.
2-1. Brooke Jacoby and Eric Owens have done a terrific job changing the mindset of this Blue Jays ball club. They really grind out at bats. It's off the end of the bat. Taylor will miss it. He reached for it. Looked like he was thinking about flipping it with his glove. This is his first start at second base. He's a natural shortstop, and Pillar is aboard. Still nobody out.
Well, your pitcher's struggling like that. You have a ball like this, you got to make an out. You're right. He was thinking about taking that and just flipping it over to Trumbo, the first baseman, but he didn't see the ball into his glove. Got to catch it first.
So the number 9 hitter, Ryan Goins, getting a start at second base. Goins has not started since July 9th. It's been quite a stretch of inactivity for Goins. He shows a bunt and bunts it foul. Blue Jays have taken a 3-1 lead here in the top of the second, and runners at first and second, nobody out.
Playing for some add-on runs right there. Why not?
That's bunted off home plate. Zunino's in foul territory. Going back to the last time Goins faced Taijuan Walker, he had a good at bat.
Part of that 8-2 beating of the Mariners, Ryan Goins with this long one to right field off the Taijuan Walker. I told you he throws a lot of fastballs, and Ryan timed that one up nicely.
May 24th at Rogers Center. Goins behind 0-2. Stays alive. Looks like Zunino got a face full of dirt on that foul ball. Zunino catching for the 82nd time. He's the everyday catcher for the Mariners. Last year he started 125 games. Goins hits a high pop. That's going to be out of play into the seats. Goins trying to sacrifice and then bunted 2 balls foul. Carrera's at second, Pilar's at first. Carrera had an RBI single. Pilar reached on the air by the second baseman. Still nobody out. Taijuan Walker in a jam here in the second.
Blue Jays have done such a good job taking advantage of the other team's mistakes.
Goins strikes out on the breaking ball. There's that third pitch you were talking about.
He needs to develop that. A curveball or a slider or something. He throws a cutter. He throws a changeup. And he's got a good fastball. I haven't seen the fastball command that we saw earlier this year or in the start last season when we saw him. Fastball command. Nor have we seen a good breaking ball.
Jose Reyes, the leadoff man, popped out to the shortstop his first time up. One and one. Blue Jays would love to wrap up this road trip with a 4-2 record. They'll have an off day Monday. And the Phillies come to town for a 2-game series. All of a sudden, the Phillies are playing pretty good.
Yeah, they're playing a lot better. And then Kansas City and then Minnesota, 2 4-game series. So it'd be nice to get a little momentum heading back home.
Blue Jays are 28-19 at home at Rogers Center. 3-1 now to Reyes. Donaldson has already homered this afternoon. He's on deck.
You know, look how close those pitches are on pitch tracks. I mean, they're just off the plate. They are balled, but the Blue Jays just won't offer it. Pitches 3 and 4. Look at that, just off of the plate, and they won't swing.
That'll load the bases. Ball 4 to Reyes. Well, Donaldson with 1 out in the first inning put the Blue Jays and Mark Burley out front quickly.
Didn't waste any time. This is a team, the Seattle Mariners, who have been giving up a lot of home runs. And this one by Donaldson got the Blue Jays their first run of the game.
Donaldson with the bases loaded. He now leads the American League with 67 RBIs.
No command. He just has not been able to throw quality pitches yet in this game, and the Blue Jays are doing a good job laying off.
Jay Happ lasted an inning and 2/3 yesterday. They just won't chase.
Nope. We saw that in that start you were just talking about. Jay Happ got knocked out. He walked 4 batters in the second inning. He hits a batter. Hit Kevin Pillar. Nothing Lloyd McClendon can do about it, Buck.
The Blue Jays walked 9 times yesterday, a season high. Fastball strike. Donaldson does a great job batting with the bases loaded. Doesn't overswing, doesn't really force the issue, but he's got a .422 average with the bases loaded.
He's got a game plan going on right now. What he wants to do, he's looking for something out over the plate. Eventually, Taijuan Walker's going to have to challenge. He's going to have to stop nibbling, or he's going to be out of this game.
Donaldson's home run was his 9th career home run against Seattle. His 24th homer of the season. High fly ball to right. Nelson Cruz over near the foul line. Tagging at third is Carrera. Cruz's throw will go to second, and Donaldson has 2 RBIs already this afternoon. Home run and a sac fly. The Blue Jays are great at cashing in those runners from third with sacrifice flies. That's their 35th sacrifice fly of the season. That's the most in the American League. Pillar moves up on the fly ball to right. He's now at third. Reyes remains at first. Jose Bautista just missed a home run his first time up. Slow curveball in there.
Well, he really slows down his body, doesn't he, when he throws that curveball? As a hitter, you can pick that up. You can sense that starter, when he's throwing that ball, he slows down his body.
Bouncing ball up the middle. Miller will flip to second to end the inning. But the Blue Jays send 8 men to the plate in the second. They score 3 runs and have taken an early 4-1 lead for Mark Buehrle.
In-depth sports analysis, fan favorite classics, and must-see guests. You can catch them weeknights right here on Sportsnet or connect online 24/7 at Tim and Sid. And guys, I think next year we have to poll for Tim and Sid to bring their show on the road to Seattle. I think that the fans would love it, and I'm sure they'll enjoy it out here too.
I tell you what, the fans, they don't need any excuse to come down here to Seattle. They absolutely flock to this ballpark when the Blue Jays are in town. A terrific turnout once again today, and the Blue Jays have an early lead. Franklin Gutierrez came into the game as a pinch hitter yesterday. He pinch hit in 7th. He made the final out of the ball game yesterday. A fly ball, but that's going to slice foul into the seats. Mark Buehrle looking for his 12th win of the season. He's just 1-3 in 7 career starts here at Safeco. Donaldson picks up the ground ball, throws to first. 1 down. Buehrle for his career is 8-5 against the Mariners. And he's trying to put a nice little bow on his West Coast road trip.
Yeah, this was a big part of the road trip for the Blue Jays. They're finishing off 16 out of their last 19 on the road. And if you can come out west and have a winning road trip, I tell you can gain some momentum and really do wonders for your ball club.
Mark Trumbo has been rough on Mark Buehrle throughout his career. Trumbo batting .500 against Buehrle, 6 for 12 with 3 home runs. Just off the inside corner. Trumbo hitting .333 since the 4th of July. 18 for 54. They picked him up to provide some protection. But so far, it really hasn't translated.
Which is surprising. This team offensively looks like they should be a lot better.
Reyes hits short. Throws Trumbo out. 2 ground ball outs here in the second. Yeah, you look at their lineup and you say, well, what's the deal? This is a pretty good group of hitters. But they haven't put it all together.
Well, they've played a lot of close ball games this year. They played 57 of their 98 games decided by 2 runs or less. And you talk about home runs. Almost 46% of the runs have come from their home runs. So they just haven't been able to manufacture the runs like they have to play in this ballpark.
They have done some changes in the dimensions of this ballpark to try to make it a little better hitter's ballpark. They brought the fences in. Chris Taylor is playing at second base, making his first start of the season there. Mark Burley. 3 up, 3 down for Burley. Taylor looks at strike 3. First strikeout of the afternoon for Mark Burley. Blue Jays have a 4-1 lead in front of a lot of Canadian fans.
To wear them and actually take the field, you can do just that. It's Blue Jays Fantasy Camp, November 15th through the 20th in Dunedin, Florida. You can join Roberto Alomar, George Bell, Jesse Barfield, and many more for the ultimate Major League experience. Your package includes airfare, hotel, meals, uniform, and 4 days of baseball. Spots are limited. Go to BlueJays.com/fantasy camp for more details.
Barry, I bet you could fill up that fantasy camp by roaming around here at this ballpark. I think you could get a lot of people who would sign up. The legends of the Blue Jays on this Hall of Fame Sunday, as the former Mariner Randy Johnson goes in with John Smoltz and Pedro Martinez. Johnson spent 10 seasons here. Craig Biggio, the great Houston Astro player as well. There's a base hit for Encarnacion. Blue Jays are squaring up Taijuan Walker early in this game. That's 5 hits now.
You know, he throws everything at a good hitting speed. For me, when you sit here and you watch him, everything seems to be the same speed, and it's a hitting speed. And when you can't control the ball, you can't throw it where you need to be successful, you know, you're bound to get lit up by major leaguers.
Yeah, it's quite a contrast between Taijuan Walker and Mark Burley. When you think about Walker, you look at his size. He's 6'5", a big strapping right-hander, young guy, throws hard. The Blue Jays are all over him, and Smoke trying to take advantage of that shift, pushes it foul. That's a pretty heads-up play right there, and I wish we saw more of that.
Yeah, that's a free hit. A free hit if you're Justin Smoke. He sees everybody pulled over to the right side of the infield. All you have to do is get the ball down and keep it on the grass. Get it by the pitcher, and you've got yourself another hit.
He can do it again. Miller went right back to shortstop. How about going deep? High fly ball, and Jackson's got room on the warning track. He makes the catch. Smoke just got underneath it. Taijuan Walker with 1 out here in the 3rd. Let's take a look at his scouting report.
Scouting report says he's going to throw that fastball 67% of the time. You can see it's a good one. It's a 94.3 miles per hour. He'll mix in a changeup, and it's hard, 89. There's not a lot of variance, a lot of difference in speed between his fastball and his changeup. He'll mix in a cutter 10% of the time and a curveball. I think the curveball, he's got to develop that and throw it more than just 5% of the time. Maybe he's afraid he's going to get hit. He's been hit at 500 batting average against that curveball, but you got to be able to throw it.
Yeah, and you would think it would be something he'd really zero in on, trying to come up with that third pitch. Walker's just 22 years old. He'll turn 23 in August. He was a supplemental first-round pick in 2010. Russell Martin, 1-1 count. Martin had a two-strike double in the second. They were pitching him inside exclusively. He finally turned on an inside pitch and lined it down the left field line his first time up. He's trying to get that curveball into the mix, but he hasn't been able to throw strikes with it.
Yeah, and as a hitter, the Blue Jays can just eliminate it right now until they get to 2 strikes. Eliminate it, look for something in the middle of the plate.
Martin bounces it down the third baseline. That'll go foul. It's so much easier for a hitter when you don't have to think about 3 different pitches. You think about that curveball, that's that extra pitch you have to worry about. Puts a lot of doubt in your mind.
You got to put it in their mind, though. If you're the Seattle Mariners, you've got to put that curveball in the mind of those hitters. Just another pitch that you have to deal with. Then you can throw the fastball. Then you can use that changeup in an occasional cutter. 10% of the time for a cutter, that's a lot.
Gets a piece of it and he fouls it off. We have heard from the hitting coach Brooke Jacoby and from Eric Owens all season long that Blue Jays as a team are very good at making in-game adjustments. If the pitcher is not commanding a particular pitch, they'll just forget about it.
You know, I talked to Brooke about that yesterday. He says they do a good job of passing that information along then to their teammates. Jose Reyes will lead off a ball game, and he'll see certain pitches and have a certain idea. Bautista, Donaldson at the top, they'll pass it down to their teammates.
The runner, the swing and miss by Martin, and the throw to second in front of Schoen. He's throwing out a strike him out, throw him out. Zunino with a strong throw after the Martin strikeout, and Walker gets the double play to end the third. Russell Martin, the second strikeout for Walker, and then the strong throw from the catcher as Zunino delivers a strike to second to end the inning.
Presented by the 2015 Honda Civic. Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Mark Burley throws a first pitch strike to the shortstop Brad Miller. 8-9-1 for Seattle in their half of the third. Right through Burley's legs. He swiped at it and he was surprised he didn't catch it. Four-time Gold Glover. Had pretty good position, but it just skipped through his legs for a leadoff single.
He usually gets a piece of a ball if it's around him. This time Miller takes that breaking ball, sends it right back through the middle. You're right, he swiped at it. Just could not come up with it. It's a leadoff single.
The number 8 hitter is aboard for Mike Zunino, the catcher. He goes after the first pitch. Zunino batting .203 against lefty pitching. 170 for the season. He's got some power. Zunino has 10 doubles to go with those 9 home runs.
Yeah, he's got power. He's got to make contact. You know, he's going to swing. He has only had 18 walks this season. The flip side of that, he's had 107 strikeouts. So he's going to go up there swinging.
Line drive into center. That'll get down for a base hit. An 0-2 base hit for Mike Zunino.
Saw that little graphic right there. He's hitting .376 over his last 5 games. 5-game hit streak. He singles on an 0-2 pitch. I'm sure Mark Burley would like to have that pitch back.
That'll stretch his hit streak to 6 straight games. Austin Jackson homered against Burley in the first. He's the batter with 2 on. On Friday night, we saw Felix Hernandez here pitch, and we talked about the separation between his fastball and his changeup, just 3.5 miles an hour. Burley's right there with him. There's a base hit. That's going to score Miller. Here's the throw from Carrera, and it is not in time. Russell Martin tagged Miller, indicating he didn't think Miller touched home plate. Chad Fairchild, the home plate umpire, waved him safe. So the umpire felt that Miller swiped home. Martin went after him and tagged him after he slid past home plate.
That was a heck of a throw by Carrera. He's playing left field today with Mark Burley on the mound. There's a lot of balls that go into the outfield when Burley is on the mound. Clearly he is safe as he comes across the plate for an RBI single. He gives him the lane to slide in. And Miller clearly touched the plate before he was even tagged.
Jackson is 2 for 2 with both RBIs, a home run and an RBI single. Nobody out. Kyle Seager, he had a single to right his first time up. Seager was picked off by Burley. It looked like Burley was too pleased with the location of that pitch. It was up, out over the plate where Seager could really have a pack at it.
And a hot hitter. And he is a hot hitter. Seager, over the last 2 weeks, he's over 400. He's been hitting everything. Saw that one. Pitchers, the good ones, can read bats. And I'm sure he read the bat of Seager that he was right on that high pitch.
So he goes down and away with a little cut fastball. Seager's hit streak now at 6 straight games. Burley has given the Mariners 5 hits already this afternoon. 3 this inning. Ground ball, Smoke at first, goes to Reyes for 1, back to first. Burley makes a terrific play as he was reaching for the bag with his leg, got his foot on the bag, and then stretched to make the catch from Reyes. What a double play.
You know, he's a left-hander, so that glove is on the right side. He made his way over to first base and had to find the bag. And now look where the throw is. It's over his left shoulder. He's got to reach back and make that catch, and he kept his heel, it looked like, on the corner of that bag. Any ball hit to the right side, he breaks very quickly, finds the ball, and the throw is a little off target. It's not to his glove side. He's got to reach back. It makes a heck of a double play.
That's how you win Gold Gloves right there. 2 outs now for Nelson Cruz.
Here's the throw on the inside. You can see it's taking him to the inside part of the bag. If that's to his glove, he could stretch to it. But he made a heck of an adjustment to finish off that double play.
And you saw what Burley did as soon as he caught the ball. He looked at third base to check on the runner, make sure where Zunino was. Two and 1 to Nelson Cruz. Cruz is just 2 for 23 against Mark Burley. We know what a good hitter Cruz is, but he hasn't figured out Mark Burley.
He has lit up the Blue Jays in his career.
And you can see the swings he's taken against Burley. Not with a lot of confidence.
He's having some bad hacks against him, isn't he? Doesn't look like he's picking the ball up at all. He starts from an open stance, and he really likes to stride into the ball.
Isn't it interesting how hitters, Cruz will pick out a 100-mile-an-hour fastball and rip it to left field. He sees it well, but with Burley, he's just not picking it up. He reaches for that one, and that's going to be a broken bat single. Neal comes in to score.
Boy, those are the runs right there, if you're Mark Burley, that really hurt. You had 3 straight hits to start the inning. Then you got the double play, and you've got a guy who is struggling to see the ball. You make a good pitch, he breaks his bat, and he does that. Hits it right out of the reach of the shortstop for a 2-out base hit.
For Cruz, RBI number 58. His hit streak at 6 now. Robinson Cano, he lined out to Bautista to end the first.
It's a heck of a catch right there by that fan, that Blue Jay fan.
It's hard to miss a Blue Jay fan in this ballpark. Cano gets jammed, and that's a fair ball off the bag. Donaldson gloves it, and he not bobbled it the first time he barehanded it. He'd have thrown him out. What a great reaction by Donaldson. That ball cued as it was down the third base line, had a lot of English on it, and hit the base and popped right up to Donaldson.
You can't give up on any ball, I think, if you're an infielder. Look at this thing come back fair. Donaldson alertly grabs it, bobbles it momentarily, took a couple of steps. By then it was too late. Cano's going to beat that out for an infield hit.
5 hits this inning. Cano's hit streak now at 7. Franklin Gutierrez grounded out the third, his first time up.
Josh comes up and makes the play. You can see there's 1, 2, 3 steps before he finally gets hold of that ball. And that's enough time for Cano to make it down the line.
Yeah, if Josh fields that ball out of his glove cleanly, he throws him out easily. Four-three Blue Jays. The Mariners have scored 2 here in the bottom of the third. Really was able to get the double play to reduce the impact of 5 hits this inning.
7 for the game already for the Mariners.
Burley gave up 8 hits in his last outing over 7 innings against Oakland. Just off the plate, that'll load the bases. That's the first walk Burley has issued. Coming into this game, he hadn't walked a batter in 114 plate appearances. Mark Trumbo, we mentioned Trumbo's good numbers against Burley. He has 3 career home runs. Burley gets ahead with a start.
Jump ahead right away as Mariners have hit 4 grand slams this year. And Trumbo's hit 2 in his career. Big power hitter.
Really with a little extra on the fastball at 85 gets it past Trumbo. Six career grand slams allowed by Burley.
Good idea right there. Move him off the plate.
This is Mark Burley's 481st start. 6 career grand slams. Doesn't sound like much when you consider how many starts he's made in a row. Ryan Tepera loosening up for the Blue Jays. Mariners have touched up Mark Burley to the tune of 7 hits early on. We mentioned Burley over this recent stretch of good outings has averaged under 14 pitches per inning. Today, that's not the case. This will be his 56th pitch of the ball game.
Too many of them are in the middle right here against Trumbo. He's thrown some pitches that Trumbo's missed. The thing about Burley is he can do that and then next inning get into a nice groove.
Right. We have seen that before. Full count. Bases loaded. 2 outs. They'll be on the move. Chris Taylor, the second baseman, is on deck. Cruz, Cano, Gutierrez on base. Burley strikes out Trumbo to leave the bases loaded. Mark Burley gives up 5 hits in the inning and a walk, but Burley finishes off a double play to minimize the impact of those hits. Burley strikes out Trumbo to end the inning and protect the lead.
watch Blue Jays broadcasts, it is the MLB Live Tracker. Get play-by-play updates, batter hit zone charts, and real-time win percentage. Get MLB Live Tracker by clicking on any game matchup on sportsnet.ca/MLB Live Tracker. It's also available through the Sportsnet app, a great way to follow your favorite game. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry Davis. And that tracker gives you the opportunity to look around baseball and check out the scores. The Yankees and Twins are in the bottom of the ninth. New York leading 7-2. Nathan Eovaldi, 8 strong innings this afternoon. Blue Jays will see the Minnesota Twins on their upcoming homestand. They'll play a 4-game series, the final series of that 3-team homestand.
You know who else they're going to see? They're going to see Johnny Cueto.
Kansas City Royals have acquired Johnny Cueto in a deal with Cincinnati for 3 left-handed pitchers. Brandon Finnegan, #1 pick last year, 22 years old. He pitched at Texas Christian University and pitched in the playoffs for the Royals. There's the leadoff walk. Another walk issued by Taijuan Walker. 2 walks in the ball game, and Lloyd McClendon can't be happy about that.
Yeah, that's the last thing he wants to see if he's the manager. His team scores 2 runs in the bottom of the inning. What do? 5 pitches, you got a runner at first base.
Yeah, there are certain things that you'd like ball players to think about. The fact that, hey, he scored 2 runs. Now you got to put up a 0, and he walks the leadoff man. The 7th hitter in the lineup. There's a breaking ball that misses. Again, the Blue Jays laying off those breaking balls.
You know, Taijuan Walker had a game right at the end of last season at the Rogers Center. It was, I think it was the last game or the second last game of the season last year. And he threw a lot of fastballs. Here comes Lloyd McClendon. I'm sure this is going to be a pep talk right here from his manager. And he was just burning the fastball in there against the Blue Jays, challenging the hitters, and he pitched a good ball game.
I don't know if I would call it a pep talk. It looks more like a young man. You better start throwing some strikes here. We can't do anything if you walk batters all day long. We walked 9 yesterday. And we can't do that again today. So now he's giving it to Zunino as well, saying, let's go, fellas.
Yeah, I went to the bullpen in the 2nd inning. I can't do that again today. So you wouldn't classify that as a pep talk?
I don't think that would. No, that's not.
That's the good thing, the nice thing to say.
No, that's.
But you got my
gist.
Yeah, the gist of what I was saying.
Absolutely. He had a message to deliver. There's a line drive base hit. Kevin Pillar. It's a single. Carrera is going to go first to third. Good job of base running by Carrera. Boy, how many times have we seen it? A manager or pitching coach goes to the mound. The next pitch is going to be a strike. And Pillar was all over it.
And probably a fastball. Kevin understands that. Pillar gets this one up over the strike zone and rips it into left field. Gutierrez, the Gold Glover in left field, laid back on that ball. And Carrera took advantage of it. He laid back, so he got the play right in front of him. Picks up an extra base for the Blue Jays.
Ryan Goins struck out on a curveball from Walker in the 2nd. Takes a strike. Fouls it back to the backstop. 0-2. Walker's throwing his best curveballs to Goins this afternoon.
Oh, because he knows he can go deep against him, which he did back at Rogers Center this year. He struck him out first time up.
There's the curveball. Goins is now 3 for 7 against Taijuan Walker. Getting a start today. We mentioned it's his first start since July 9th. First time he's played second base since July 1st. Breaking ball. Trumbo steps on the bag, and Pillar hung up now as Carrera works off third base. Now he's in a rundown. Pilar goes to second, and they have Carrera in a rundown, and Carrera slapped at the runner at the infielder, and now they're both out. Louis Rivera was trying to get Pilar to stay on the base, and Carrera got back to the base. He stepped off the base. They tagged Carrera. And Jim Joyce, the crew chief, is over to help out Chad Fairchild. There was contact made by Carrera on the infielder in the rundown, but he extended his arm to make the contact. Jim Joyce explaining the situation to Gibbons.
Wow. This is going to be really confusing. For some reason, Louis telling Pilar to go back, but that's his bag right there.
It's Carrera's bag, and he wanted Carrera to stay on the bag, and Pilar would then give up third base, and he'd be tagged out. But they are both going to be out now, and what a turnaround inning. A walk, a base hit, a strikeout, and the Blue Jays are out of the inning. Another case of bad base running as they get hung up in two different rundowns, and the inning is over, and Gibbons, frustrated, goes back to the dugout. An interesting inning for the Blue Jays. And then Goins strikes out. He steps on first, and that's one out.
That's one.
Now they've got the rundown with Pilar. And then Carrera comes off third. He gets in a rundown. And you can see now he's going to extend his arm, makes contact, but that's waved off by the umpire. Carrera has possession of third base. He would eventually step off third base and be tagged out.
That was the mistake. That was his base then, because he went back to where he came from, and they tagged Pilar, and then for some reason Carrera left the bag, and that was the triple play. Tagged him out.
So Goins is out 3 unassisted. It's the 11th triple play in Mariners franchise history.
I wonder if Carrera thought he was out
because he hit the infielder.
Because he reached out and hit the fielder, that he thought he was already out. That's why he left that bag. But I watched the umpire on that. The home plate umpire signaled safe, no problem on that play.
Well, he was waving off any kind of interference by the infielder because Carrera had extended his arm to make the contact. 2-2. Burley thought it was strike 3.
That was one of the most bizarre plays I've ever seen. Blue Jays for business. First and third, nobody out.
There's the strikeout. Taylor goes around. Here's what happened at the end of this play. Carrera goes all the way back to third. Now Rivera's going, Pilar, you get off the base. And now Jim Joyce said Pilar's out because he tagged Pilar while he was on the base with Carrera. And then Carrera stepped off the base and he was tagged out. Jim Joyce standing right there watching the action unfold right in front of him. Louis Rivera knew what to do. He said, Pilar, you have to vacate third base and we'll sacrifice one out. But they eventually sacrificed both base runners. Burley ahead 0-2 to Brad Miller.
Did you get the feeling that Louis wanted to hold one of those guys right on the base right there? Just grab him and say, stay here.
And he would love to do that, but then he would be out anyway.
He'd be out then if he touched him. We had a great conversation yesterday with Rich Donnelly, the third base coach for Seattle, and he was talking about all the base running mistakes as that ball's hit into left field that he has seen this season from everybody. There's another one.
Yeah, and it's not just extra players or role players. He said we have seen some stars just walk off the base. Robbie Cano did it on ball 3. He was at third base. He thought it was ball 4. The bases were loaded, and he walked toward home thinking he had been forced in, and he was tagged out.
Yeah, there were runners on second and third, and on a walk, he thought the bases were loaded, and they went and tagged him out. I mean, just crazy plays this year.
Ground ball. Reyes to his right will go to second, and it's high. All hands are safe. Zunino gets a second base hit of the afternoon. Deep in the hole, it's short. Reyes made a high throw. It was going to be bang bang at second with Brad Miller running from first to second.
Yeah, the only way they were going to get this if the throw was lower and Goins could act like a first baseman and stretch to the ball, but the second baseman has to leave his position, get up in the air to save that high throw, and that allows Miller to get in safely.
9 hits now for the Mariners. Miller and Zunino each 2 for 2, as is Austin Jackson at the plate. Jackson 2 for 2 with a home run and 2 RBIs. Werner gets in on Austin Jackson. Jays have turned one double play this afternoon. That was off the bat of Kyle Seager. 3-6-3 double play that Burley was involved. 3-6-1 double play.
They need another one right here.
Ground ball. Reyes hits short. Goins at second, back to first. There's the double play Burley was looking for. 2 singles in the inning. The Mariners leave a runner. Burley has a 4-3 lead. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Hazel May and Greg Zaun.
You can have the same experience in Toronto. It's our Summer Friday Fan Festival presented by Bacardi. The next one goes July the 31st. It's the Blue Jays and the Royals at 7:07. Get to the ballpark early for our pregame festival outside of Gate 10. Gates will open at 4:30, and you can enjoy a live performance by special guest Chad Brownlee in the license area. Go to BlueJays.com for more details. That also happens to be trade deadline day.
Should be a busy afternoon and early evening on that trade deadline day. Lots of players anxious to find out if they're going to stay or if they're going to go. Reyes drills it, but that's going to be foul. Fifth inning, 4-3 Blue Jays. And it has been a bizarre game already as Reyes strikes out. 3 strikeouts now for Taijuan Walker. The Mariners have turned a triple play this afternoon. That came in the 4th inning, and now Walker with the curveball. Reyes chases.
We've seen a couple of double plays by the Blue Jays, a balk to really set up a big inning, a couple of errors, home runs, a little bit of everything so far.
There have been 3 double plays in the game and a triple play already. And there are 7 runs on 15 hits. A lot going on here early.
Blue Jays kept their home run streak alive with the guy at the plate.
They've homered in 9 straight games now. Donaldson homering in the 1st inning, his first at bat. Two and 2 to Donaldson. Josh has a home run and a sac fly off of Taijuan Walker. He's picked up 2 RBIs. Gives him 68 for the season. Oh, he had a good grip and fouled it off the catcher. That was a hanger.
And he saw it, and he stayed back just long enough. Watch this breaking ball up. He stays back long enough. He just misses it. Tell you what, he's locked in right now on Taijuan Walker, isn't he?
Everything he swings at, he has a good swing. There's another high breaking ball. That was too high to swing. Bautista is on deck. Donaldson thinks it's ball 4. First base umpire Sam Holbrook calls him for the swing. Chad Fairchild, the home plate umpire, asks the first base umpire, did he go? And Donaldson was taking off his elbow pad, thinking about going to first.
That might have been his best pitch. Watch that ball go down. There was a lot of movement on it. Donaldson saw it, tried to check his swing, but he's called out. Oh, it's some good movement.
Yeah, it's one of the best fastballs we have seen from Walker. Bautista was sitting on that breaking ball and just missed it. It was upstairs.
Starting to see him take a little bit more off of that curveball, and you're seeing a little separation miles per hour from his breaking ball to his fastball. That one was just 74.
There's that cutter. It's off the plate. There's another slow curveball. Bautista hit it right off the end of the bat. We're in the 5th. Blue Jays trying to win back-to-back series here on the West Coast. 96 upstairs, and Taijuan Walker strikes out the side in the 5th. The breaking ball complementing his fastball, and it sets up this strikeout of Bautista.
Jamaica versus Mexico, and it goes tonight on Sportsnet World and Sportsnet 360, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry. Blue Jays here in Seattle will fly back to Toronto after this game, and as Hazel May told you earlier, they'll have an off day on Monday before the Phillies are in town. How about the Phillies? They swept the Cubs in a series.
At Wrigley.
This is popped up. It's playable. Donaldson battling the sun, and he just never saw it. He was looking up directly into that sun. He had plenty of room, had an idea where it was. And you can see Donaldson doesn't have any sunglasses on.
Ball goes up. He sees it. He's looking right into the sun. Now he's going to try and find it again. And I'll tell you what, you look up there and all you see is white, bright lights. And your eyes just don't have time to pick the ball back up.
There's another pop. This one will be back into the seats. I don't understand why players don't wear sunglasses on days like this. I mean, they all have them. They hit in them. They hit BP with them. And then Donaldson, it's a cloudy day, overcast. And the sun was out. Reyes has his on top of his cap.
The old-fashioned flip down were the perfect sunglasses. If you don't need it, if it goes behind a cloud, you don't have to wear your sunglasses.
And Seager rips it into right for Seager. That's his second hit. A leadoff single. Let's check in with Hazel May. Thank you, Hazel. All of a sudden you look up and Nathan Eovaldi is 10-2. And we talked about A-Rod. Alex Rodriguez last night hit 3 home runs in the game. He did not play this afternoon. And the Yankees rack up 7 runs on 7 hits. They beat Kyle Gibson. There's a high pop-up. Goins, the second baseman, takes charge. And Cruz is retired on the high pop. And Goins has glasses. That's why he called for it. I got glasses on. I'm going to catch it.
I see it all the way. You mentioned Nathan Eovaldi. Who was he traded for? That's my point. David Phelps, right?
Yep.
From Miami. What a steal by the Yankees.
Yeah, very good trade. And you know what? You don't hear much about the Yankees in the trade deadline. But don't be surprised if the Yankees come up with someone that nobody's talking about.
And being a pitcher?
More than likely a pitcher, maybe a second baseman.
Maybe a second baseman, like a Ben Zobrist or something like that. Certainly fits their mold of type of player. Switch hitter.
Very versatile. Veteran of the AL East.
They've got plenty of prospects from what I understand if they feel like trading them.
They've got one of the best in baseball in Luis Severino. Pitcher down in AAA.
Aaron Judge, big power hitter.
One and two to Cano. One out. Seager at first. Seager has had a good day. Again, 2 hits this afternoon. He's extended his hit streak to 6 straight. Cano pops it up. Another pop up. Reyes and Donaldson both battling the sun. It's Reyes who calls for it and makes the catch.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
The Space Needle on the north side of downtown Seattle. Franklin Gutierrez has grounded out and walked against Burley. Mark Burley making his 20th start of the season. He bends, but he doesn't break. He's given up 3 runs on 10 hits, but has a 4-3 lead.
You and I were talking between innings. Look at some of the hits that he's given up today. A couple of infield hits, one that hit the bag. one that was in the hole at shortstop. Seager should have been out if they could have caught the pop up, and he gets a base hit. One right through his legs. I mean, he's giving up the hits. They're crazy hits, but he's making pitches when he needs to.
There's a fly into center. Long run for Pilar. He gets there. The inning is over. The Mariners leave another base runner, and we'll go to the 6th. Mark Burley and the Jays lead it 4-3 in Seattle. Reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Lots of Blue Jay fans have been here all weekend long. Great crowds both Friday night and Saturday afternoon. Another good crowd here this afternoon. Taijuan Walker struck out the side in the 5th. He got Reyes, Donaldson, and Bautista. He's starting to get that slow curveball into the mix.
And he's throwing it early in the count to the Blue Jays. Just that get me over curveball. Just to put something else in their mind to think about. It's almost 20 miles an hour difference now in speed with his fastball.
Encarnacion rips it foul. Edwin had a base hit his last time up. One of 6 Blue Jay hits. Look out. There's that curveball. He got away from Walker, and Encarnacion had to bail out. It's 3-1 now.
And Edwin after this ball right here. Curveball up and in. He is going to be geared, I think, for the fastball.
And it's down. Another walk. That's 3 walks issued by Walker. Leadoff walk here in the 6th. Justin Smoke, the first baseman, has singled and scored. He's also flied out to deep right center.
You can see the shift by the Mariners. That's the third baseman, Kyle Seager, who has left his position. He's straight away second base, so he's got the whole left side. Smoke, he tried to bunt last time for a base hit.
In the same situation with Encarnacion at first and nobody out. Lots of room down the third base line.
Just get it down if you're thinking about it.
2-0.
I think that could lead to a big inning. Blue Jays have hit into a triple play. They've also hit into a double play. Well, strike him out, throw him out. Double play.
Ground ball. Trumbo at first goes to second for 1. Back to first. There's another double point. Smoke bounces into the 3-6-3 double play. And that erases the leadoff walk.
It's been a saving grace, I think, for Taijuan Walker and the Seattle Mariners. A couple of innings ago, Russell Martin had to strike him out, throw him out. Then the next inning was a triple play. And now the big double play, eliminating that leadoff walk.
Seager back over at third for Russell Martin. 2 outs now. Martin doubled in the second. Hopped back over the Mariners dugout out of play. I just got a note about Albert Pujols. He steals his 100th base of his career and becomes the 4th player with at least 100 stolen bases, 500 home runs, and a 300 average. Pretty good accomplishment on this Hall of Fame Sunday. The other 3 players, how about Ruth Mays and Aaron?
They were pretty good.
There's that slow hook again. Boy, it's made all the difference in the ballgame, hasn't it?
Yeah, he's starting to incorporate that just a little bit more. Just give the Blue Jays something else to think about.
Walker wanted it. He was headed for the dugout.
Pretty good pitch, but it's just off the plate. Babe Ruth had 100 stolen bases.
How about that?
I didn't know that.
Well, he went right back to the same spot. Martin's thinking, hey, it was a ball last time, and now you call it a strike. That's 6 strikeouts for Taijuan Walker. 3 up, 3 down. Go the Blue Jays in the 6th. An uptick for him this season. See his career numbers, the ERA 3.79 and the WHIP 1.28. Compared to this season, he's bettered his career numbers.
Career numbers are excellent numbers for as long as he has been pitching, but he is doing it better, getting better with age. In 2015, that earned run average at 3.2, the WHIP at 1.1. And you know what else he does? He gives the Blue Jays length. He pitches deep into ball games as there's a timeout on the field as Rich Donnelly heads to the, forgot his helmet. But he gives, Mark Buehrle gives the Blue Jays depth and length in a ball game. He is working on 7 straight games with at least 7 innings pitched. It's almost automatic.
They're certainly going to need the consistency of Buehrle down the stretch. I mean, you can pencil him in. We mentioned his streak of 9 straight games. It comes to an end here this afternoon. But he had a stretch of 9 straight with 2 or fewer earned runs. Mark Trumbo, he just hasn't been able to cash in against Buehrle this afternoon. Josh Donaldson's got some glasses on now, the flip-down glasses.
Those are the best. You know, if you need them, you got them right there. All you have to do is tap the top of your cap right there. Just flip them down. If you don't need them, you can see the sun's going in and out between all of the clouds here.
Yeah, I can understand a player not wanting to wear the sunglasses, the traditional sunglasses, as it creates a lot of shadows for you. But the flip-down glasses, they've been around forever. Remember when you were a kid and you first got your first pair of flip-down glasses? That was pretty awesome.
And you had to learn to use them.
You knock your cap off and the glasses go down over your nose.
Or you try to knock your glasses down and you knock your glasses down over your eyes. That's happened to me before. You look awfully silly.
Chris Taylor, the second baseman, has struck out twice this afternoon. 2 of the 3 Burley strikeouts. Two and two. Got an interesting matchup of the managers here, John Gibbons and Lloyd McClendon. They both started their careers in the Mets organization, and they were teammates their first years. McClendon came out of Valparaiso University. He was 21 years old. John Gibbons was 18 years old. He had signed out of high school in Texas. Donaldson scoots that away from himself, and that's going to be an error. Donaldson looked like he scooped at it and went off the webbing of his glove and went straight away from him, and he could never recover.
Had plenty of time. The ball was hit directly right at Josh. And then ricochets off the glove away from him. He'll be charged with his 13th error. He's down there and he's with it. It's in the glove, and look how that thing pops out and runs away from him.
Brad Miller's 2 for 2 against Mark Burley. But Gibbons and McClendon, you can see both Schultz loosening up. They were teammates with the Mets organization. McClendon would be promoted from that rookie league team in Kingsport, Tennessee. They started talking and reminiscing about their teammates with the Mets. A fellow named Strawberry was there with them. That's a bunt and a good one. And Smoke goes to second. Well, what a play. Smoke never ever thought about going to first. They weren't going to have a play on Miller, but he's able to get the lead runner, Taylor, with a heads-up play going to second.
You know what? I didn't even think about that play until I saw him going to do that. There was no way he was going to get Miller at first base, but he comes off that bag, he fires off that bag, and gets that lead runner. How about this? They had a nice throw to get that lead runner. They weren't going to turn 2, and they weren't going to get the runner at first base. So the next best thing, get that guy at second. And a very heads-up, very good play by Smoke.
And that's going to be it for Burley. He will leave here with 2 outs in the 6th, in line for his 12th win. Bo Schultz into the game. Bo Schultz takes over for Mark Burley here in the 6th inning with 2 outs. Schultz has been very good lately.
First time that Seattle has seen him in this series. In 17 games, Bo is 0-1 with a 175 earned run average. He has pitched 2/3 of an inning each of his last 2 times out. Last time out, those 2/3 of an inning saved R.A. Dickey's win. That was on Sunday.
This is Mike Zunino. He goes after the first pitch, and it's it high and deep to left. Carrera at the wall, jumps and makes the catch. Oh, what a play by Carrera. Yesterday, he delivered a 2-run pinch hit home run, and here he may have taken away a 2-run home run. He goes right to the wall, timed his leap perfectly, reaches out over the wall and brings it back in. Saves a home run for Bo Schultz, saves the lead for Mark Burley. This is just his 7th appearance of the season, and he's been roughed up. Look at the opponent's batting average, .414 and .500. Blue Jays have a 4-3 lead thanks to a terrific defensive play by Ezequiel Carrera.
Put into the game because of his defense with Mark Burley on the mound. Mark gives up a lot of fly balls, but the first pitch Bo Schultz delivers is hit hard to left field by Zunino, and it looked like it's going to go out, but Carrera gets back to the wall, finds it, times his leap perfectly, and on that slow-mo we saw, you see the dejection from Zunino. He thought he had it. The slow-mo we saw, his glove was over the wall, and that ball is going to be gone if he doesn't make that play.
Zunino was already 2 for 2 in the game, making a bid for the home run. And his bid is denied by Ezequiel Carrera. Carrera has had a good couple of days here in Seattle. Hit a home run, as we mentioned, the pinch hit home run. Had an RBI single in the first, in his first at bat. This time he drives it to left and deep, looking up, and this one's gone. Oh, what a half inning for Carrera. He saves a home run and then hits one, his 2nd of the series.
Showing some power the other way. The home run yesterday off of Fernando Rodney. He pulls into the seats in right field and says, you know what, I'm not going to wait around for David Rollins. I'm going to swing at the first pitch. And he uncorks another home run.
His 5th career home run. He has hit well against lefty pitching. He stayed on that pitch and drives it out of the ballpark to left.
Has anybody played their last 9 innings the way this guy's played? 7 today and 2 yesterday. Remember, he pinch hit in the 8th inning yesterday and hit that home run.
Quite a turnaround. He came up and had struggled. Rollins now will shovel the bunt attempt to first base. Pilar is thrown out. Another look at the home run swing by Carrera.
Boy, he's got some power the other way now. He's showing off.
Before he had the pinch hit home run in yesterday's game, he was 2 for 31.
Playing today because it's a big outfield. And Mark Burley throws a lot of fly balls, and you figure there'd be a lot of balls hit into the outfield. So John Gibbons plays a hunch, puts him in the lineup today, and he has responded.
He is 7 for 19 against lefty pitching.
You see Brooke Jacoby, the hitting coach, talking to Carrera. Okay, this is what Rollins is going to do. You throw this, this, and this. Oh, by the way, when you go up there first pitch, swing as hard as you can.
And if you get a fastball, hit a home run.
See, that's a good student.
That's a good coach. 2-1 to Ryan Goins. Now that strike evens the count. Goins was at the plate in the 4th inning with 2 aboard, and he started a triple play turned by the Mariners. He grounded a ball to Trumbo, who stepped on first to retire Goins. Then Trumbo threw to the shortstop Miller. They got Pilar to run down between first and second. Miller kept his eye on the runner at third. Carrera got him in a rundown. And then both Pilar and Carrera ended up at third base, and they tagged them both out, and they both were out. Mark Burley in line for the win now. He's got a little cushion. 97 pitches for Burley through 5 2/3. 10 hits. He wasn't really hit around to the tune of 10 hits. He had some lucky hits against Burley, but he has a 2-run lead now.
You know, that was the only way to describe some of the hits. All hit in the bag. Remember the broken bat single by Nelson Cruz that was with 2 outs and a runner at third base. But you know what? He has put his team in position to win, and it seems like every time he takes the mound, that's what he does.
Well, and Burley's consistency has been remarkable. If the Blue Jays can win and Burley picks up the win, it'll be his 12th win. That'll tie him for the lead in the American League with 12 wins with Dallas Keuchel and Felix Hernandez.
Some big winners in the American League. He just goes and does his thing, right? Give me the ball every 5th day.
Garrett Cole of the Pirates leads the majors with 13 wins. And then you have the 3 12-game winners in the American League. And Burley would love to join Keuchel and Hernandez. Full count to Reyes. David Rollins into the game. Donaldson is behind Reyes, and he will bat. Reyes walks. Yet another walk issued by the Mariners for this afternoon.
Rollins used to be property of the Blue Jays.
He signed with the Blue Jays as a draft choice, a 24th round pick in 2011, and was dealt from Toronto to Houston in the J. Happ Brandon Lyon trade.
He was a Rule 5 selection by Seattle.
Donaldson takes strike 1. Rollins played in Vancouver 3 games in 2011. And then in 12 he was playing at Lansing and was traded before this July upcoming trade deadline, July 20th to be exact, 2012. Donaldson has homered and hit a sac fly. Ball into dirt. Reyes Reyes was moving back toward first when Rollins delivered the pitch, and then when the ball bounced in the dirt, he didn't have enough of a lead to break.
No chance. He doesn't know David Rollins, so pitcher picked up his front leg, and Jose started back towards the bag. When the ball's in the dirt, no chance to move.
Donaldson fouls it back, and Josh is really swinging the bat well. Of course, he lights up when he sees left-handed pitching. .342 average for Donaldson against the Southpaws.
Who doesn't on the Blue Jays?
As a team, they're batting .292 at the start of this game. Two balls, two strikes from Reyes with 16 stolen bases this season. There's a deep drive to right center. Cruz is back at the track. He runs it down right at the 380 sign. Donaldson making a bid for an opposite field home run.
Free for downloading. You do not want to miss this one. Go to sportsnet.ca/magazine for more info. This one features a great article from Arden Zwelling on Josh Donaldson. A lot of things we knew a little bit about, like the fact that he's a great golfer who shoots in the 60s and has played a number of rounds with PGA professionals. In fact, he's drove them in times. He also is a big fan of paintball, autograph collecting, and he has an amazing collection of baseball cards. In fact, he has the complete top set from 72 to 79, which means he has some Buck Martinez cards in there as well. He has probably some Pat Tablers too, maybe. Also has a Mickey Mantle original, 10 of them. And the name Bringer of Rain, well, that came from the show Spartacus. He is a huge, huge fan of that. So there you go. A whole lot more that you can read about Josh Donaldson in the latest edition of Sportsnet Magazine.
Very good job on the update. Josh Donaldson has really changed the personality of this team. And he's, during batting practice this afternoon, said, you know what? My swing right-handed is pretty good. Let me check out my left-handed swing. And that started a trend in BP this morning. Russell Martin rips one up the middle. Pretty good swing. And then Kevin Pillar says, how about my left-handed swing? Not so much.
That one's pretty good right there. That ball's out, isn't it? Maybe? No.
That's how you enjoy the game, folks. And Donaldson does just that. Kevin Pillar getting involved with Russell Martin as well. And I think that's what allows good players like Donaldson and Martin to succeed, is they forget about whatever they've done, whether it's an error in the field or out at the plate. They have short-term memory loss, and they just forget everything, and they're back to square one every time they come to the plate.
You know what it is? It's confidence. It's confidence in who they are and the type of player that they are. You can go out there on days like today. You take so much batting practice, and it's a Sunday. Let's get out there and just have some fun with your teammates.
Bautista now in the shade out in right field as they're closing the roof here at Safeco Field. They're in the process of moving the roof. This is an open-air stadium with a roof. And you can see there's no enclosure, so they just bring that roof over when there's rain in the area. And you can see the big clouds behind the Safeco Field sign in left field. Looks like rain clouds are moving in.
Bringing in the big umbrella. That's all it is, right?
Austin Jackson flies out to Bautista. 1 out. Kyle Seager's 2 for 3. Seager, with those hits, has extended his hit streak to 6 straight. All of the 4 batters that had hit streaks coming into this game for the Mariners have extended their hit streaks. Seager's gone 6 straight. Nelson Cruz 6 straight. Cano 7 straight. And Mike Zunino has hit in 6 straight. So their bats are starting to heat up.
I think they are. They've got guys who have done it in the past offensively. So it's just a matter of time. And it seems like they're all starting to come together.
5-3 Blue Jays lead it. There's a strike 3-1 to Seager. Chad Fairchild, the umpire, got hit as they look down at Blue Jays. The bullpen, Aaron Sanchez picked up the win in last night's game. Looks like he's already finished his warm-ups and he's just standing by now. John Gibbons likes the depth he has in his bullpen with Schultz, Sanchez, and Osuna from the right side.
Yeah, hopefully this is going to be what the Blue Jays are going to use to get on a nice little hot streak. These 3 pitchers at the end of the ballgame. You can throw in Brett Cecil from the left side. He has done well.
3-2 to Seager. A 1-out walk was checked in with Hazel May. What a season Mike Trout has put together, and just when you think he can't get any better, he seems to be getting better.
Yeah, and every time he does something, it's always something dramatic. I think he is now the fastest of 30 home runs in the Angels' history in a season.
Nelson Cruz takes one down and away.
Boy, the field has a different look to it now, doesn't it, with the roof starting to pull over?
Yeah, and it's darker even though the lights are on. Cruz pulls it foul. The Mariners getting their first look at Bo Schultz, and he has thrown well for the Blue Jays. A lot of late movement on that good fastball.
Yeah, he can sink it and he can cut it, and he maintains his velocity when he cuts that ball. I've seen a couple of 92s, 93s, something just to take off the barrel of the bat, where they don't square it up.
There's a deep drive to left. Carrera can't catch this one. Cruz hits it into the second deck and left, and we are tied. Nelson Cruz, his 25th home run of the season. 3 RBIs in the afternoon. That will give him 60.
That's why they went out and signed him. Give me some production from the right side. Give me some protection in the middle of that lineup. Looked like a breaking ball from Bo Schultz that he home to Nelson Cruz. And you and I have been talking this whole series about the damage that Cruz has done in his career versus the Blue Jays. He does it again.
5-5 ball game. For Cruz, he just keeps wearing out the Blue Jays. That's his 19th home run against the Jays. He now has 69 RBIs for his career against Toronto. So Burley will be strapped with a no decision this afternoon.
69 RBIs in 69 games.
Cano waves at that breaking ball. Now they have shifted gears to Ryan Tepera down in Blue Jays bullpen. Sanchez rolls up. Another breaking ball. Cano strikes out. 2 down.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Franklin Gutierrez goes after that first breaking ball and swings through it.
That's how you pump it in there. Come right back after giving up that home run. You strike out Cano. Now you're a pitch away from Gutierrez. I misspoke at 71 games for Nelson Cruz and 69 RBIs. So that's been a familiar theme whenever he plays against Blue Jays.
Gutierrez strikes out, but the walk and the home run for Seattle off of Bo Schultz has tied it in the 7th. Nelson Cruz doing the damage. No stride at all. Great hands, and that's his 25th home run. We're tied at 5.
Appearance of the season. He is a setup man now for Seattle. There are his numbers in 33 innings. A whip of 18. He's averaging over a strikeout an inning.
Lowe will face Jose Bautista leading off for the Blue Jays here in the 8th, and Bautista has moved into sole possession of second place on the all-time home run list for the Blue Jays. Delgado at 336, then Bautista. He separated himself from Vernon Wells. Joe Carter and George Bell, the only others to have more than 200 career home runs in the Blue Jays uniform. So now would be a good time for 225 for Bautista.
Certainly use it now. Lowe is a power pitcher. Power fastball, power slider, and I think that really plays into Jose Bautista.
5-5 ball game. We're in the 8th. He had a home run cut, gets underneath it, skies it to center. Jackson coming in, makes the catch. Bautista got a pretty good pitch to hit and got underneath it.
He's had a hit streak against the Mariners, and he got one to hit right there, and he just gets underneath it. Skies it to center field.
Bautista has gone 0 for 4, but he has reached base on a fielder's choice. It went in Encarnacion. Edwin 2 for 7 against the Mariners right-hander. Blue Jays have 7 hits while the Mariners have collected 11. Switch hitting Justin Smoke is on deck. Ball 4. 1 out walk.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays have been issued 5 walks this afternoon, but they haven't been able to cash any of them in.
Cashed them in yesterday when they had 9 walks against the Mariners.
Oak goes after the first pitch. Fouls it back.
Encarnacion had a leadoff walk in the 6th. He could not score. Carrera had a leadoff walk in the 4th and did not score.
Fouled into the catcher's mitt.
Lowe has been pretty dominating lately. We showed the 43 strikeouts in 33 innings this season. He's had 31 in his last 19 and third inning. Comes in and throwing gas.
0-2. Lowe was involved in the trade for Justin Smoke. Smoke was included in a trade from Texas to Seattle. Lowe and Cliff Lee went from Seattle to Texas. That trade took place July 9, 2010. Smoke knew it. An off-speed pitch catches the outside corner.
He can get you with the moving fastball, or he can backdoor a breaking ball like he just did right there. Got to respect the fastball. And he drops that breaking ball in the outside corner.
That ball looked like it backed up a bit, like it actually went away. It didn't break in, but it was a slider. He got underneath them. So both starters will finish with no decisions. Taijuan Walker for Seattle, Mark Burley for the Blue Jays. Martin's double in the second. First of his 3 at-bats, he then struck out twice, once swinging, once looking. Nasty breaking ball down and away.
Boy, the relievers that teams can run out there anymore late in ball games. High 90s fastball. And then a breaking ball like that.
Russell Martin has been utilizing the whole field, and the defense for the Mariners really reflects that. I mean, they're about as straight away as you can get.
Look how deep the outfield is, too.
He's gotten his lanes back, that's for sure. Martin strikes out. A couple of strikeouts for Lowe in the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's a 5-5 game. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Hazel May and Greg Zaun.
And when you're on the road, you still want to be able to text, send emails, and keep contact with your friends. And if you're a Rogers customer, a Rogers Share Everything customer, you can do that here in the States, sharing your experience and staying connected with Roam Like Home for $5 a day. If you want to know how to do that, go to Rogers.com/Roam Like Home. And Buck, I have my wife and son here in Seattle this weekend, and they have been using that $5 a day Roam Like Home, and it's a great feature, let me tell you.
Well, you can bet there are a lot of Blue Jay fans here in attendance that are doing the same thing. It's a great opportunity to stay in contact. And Sanchez, he made his first appearance since coming off the DL here yesterday. He pitched an inning, allowed an infield hit. That was it.
And he was the benefactor of the home run that they hit in the 9th inning as he won that game yesterday to push his record to 6-4, 349 earned run average. And this is where he's going to pitch for the rest of the season, out of the bullpen and probably late in ball games and in tight ball games like this afternoon.
Mark Trumbo goes after that high fastball and fouls it back. Bo Schultz gave up a 2-run home run to Nelson Cruz in the bottom of the 7th. And has tied the game up. Schultz goes an inning and a third, just the one hit. But the big walk, that was to the man ahead of Cruz, Kyle Seager, with a 1-out walk. 2-1 to Mark Trumbo. Trumbo came into this game against Mark Burley, a 500 hitter against Burley, but he ends up 0 for 3 this afternoon against Burley. Boy, that's a wicked fastball down around the knees.
Well, it sure is. As a reliever, you've got 1 inning. Basically, that's what they're telling him. Let's air it out for an inning, see what you can do.
And he punches out Mark Trumbo to start the inning. Mariners have gone down swinging 3 straight at bats.
Cano, Gutierrez, and now Trumbo with this fastball right on the outside corner at 96. Trumbo just can't catch up to it. You see he's trying to lean into that ball. He just can't reach it. Sanchez makes a good pitch.
Chris Taylor has gone 0 for 3, reached on an error in the 6th.
Sanchez can keep that ball in the strike zone because he's got a great delivery. It's so compact, and he's got a nice loose arm. And he stays over that rubber the way he does, and he just explodes towards home. He has great movement on his fastball. There's a strike at 97. This is what I'm talking about right here. You know, he stays compact right over that rubber, and then everything is going towards home plate.
He's very balanced on that landing leg. Gets out over that leg, and that creates that downward movement. His hand stays on top of the baseball.
Yeah, he's generating a lot of speed towards home by keeping that body compact and over the rubber a long time.
2-2 to Chris Taylor. That thing came back about 10 inches. It was off the plate outside and just broke back over the heart of the plate.
Third time that Taylor has struck out this afternoon. All 3 of them taking. That ball looked like it was outside. It almost acts like a left-handed slider. As much movement as Aaron got on that pitch. 2 up, 2 down.
Number 8 hitter is Brad Miller. He's 2 for 3. The shortstop is average now at 239. Fly ball to the left. Should be a routine out for Carrera. It is. Sanchez retires the side in order. We'll go to the 9th. It's a 5-5 game. The Blue Jays looking to win the series in Seattle. 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car 17 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
7th inning, leading off, first pitch to Ezequiel Carrera, and he takes this ball out of here the opposite way. Homered in yesterday's game against Fernando Rodney, and then against David Rollins. He homers again, back-to-back days for Carrera. The drive of the game in the 7th inning. Just before that, Buck, he made a game-saving catch on a ball against the wall in left field, so it was a heck of a sequence that he had there.
He robbed the catcher Mike Zunino of a 2-run home run. His average now at 259. Mark Lowe, his second inning of relief. We're in the 9th. Blue Jays trying to wrap up a fairly successful road trip to Oakland and Seattle.
A winning road trip, and that's what you'd like to do away from home. Have a winning record on the road.
This is the rubber game of this 3-game series. The Mariners won on Friday night. Blue Jays won yesterday afternoon. The Mariners are just 2-9 in rubber games this season.
They've lost 8 straight rubber game matches against the opponent.
Yesterday, the Blue Jays won the game in their final at bat. It was the 16th time the Mariners had suffered such a loss. Well, there's a good running fastball, much like the Sanchez fastball. Carrera is out to start the 9th.
That's 3 strikeouts in a row by Mark Lowe. Brings this ball right back on the inside part of the plate. The running fastball.
Kevin Pillar singled in the 4th. Like a high breaking ball.
This can't be any fun for the hitters late in ball games with the big arms that both of these teams are bringing out of their bullpen.
It's a little looper into center. Jackson will come in and makes the grab. 2 down. Well, you're right, and we have seen this consistently around the American League. You see Osuna and Tepera. Osuna, if the Blue Jays get the lead, Tepera if it remains tied. Devin Travis comes off the bench to bat for Ryan Goins in the number 9 spot. Goins got the start at second base, and he ends up 0 for 3. This is the first pinch hitting at bat for Devin Travis this season. First of his career, of course. Having a heck of a rookie season, putting up impressive numbers despite the fact he missed over a month with a shoulder injury. How about that? He stays on that breaking ball and serves it into right, delivers a 2-out base hit, his first pinch hit at bat of his career.
And just like his other at-bats, he stays on the ball. You think you can get that ball down and away from Devin because he's off the plate, but he strides into the ball. He's got great plate coverage. And that was a pretty good pitch by Lowe, but Travis was just a little bit better there. That's how you hit 300.
He'll be up over 300 now. Leadoff man Jose Reyes, he's walked twice this afternoon. 0 for 2, a pop-up and a strikeout. The breaking ball.
Good time to use it, too. 1-0, and they know how Reyes is a good low ball, fastball type of hitter, so they crossed him up, threw him a breaking ball.
It's pulled through the right side into right. Travis will go first to third. Back-to-back 2-out hits in the ninth.
Went back to the breaking ball against Reyes. And that time the swing was a little bit more under control. And he pulls it through the hole. It's such an advantage for a left-handed hitter when there's a runner at first base. They've got to hold him on. You just hit a ground ball to the right side and it finds its way through. And the Blue Jays have something going.
It all began with 2 outs. Josh Donaldson homered in his first at-bat this afternoon. Excuse me, swing, a little roller to Trumbo. That'll end the threat. Back-to-back 2-out hits. They're stranded. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. 5-5 game in Seattle.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
We're in the bottom of the ninth inning in Seattle. The new pitcher will be Ryan Tepera. This will be his 20th game of the season. He's on in relief of Aaron Sanchez.
John Gibbons has been pitching Ryan Tepera in some important innings for the Blue Jays. He was the first guy out of the pen here on Friday when Marco Estrada went 4+ innings. Devin Travis will come in and take his usual position over there at second base after he pinch hit. But Tepera is throwing some big important innings for the Blue Jays lately.
This is the biggest inning of the afternoon for the Blue Jays. Bottom of the ninth in a 5-5 game. Mike Zunino, the catcher, had a good day. 2 for 3. Missed a home run in the 6th. He was robbed of a 2-run home run by Ezequiel Carrera, the left fielder. Base hit for Zunino. The winning run is aboard with nobody out. Now it's time for Blue Jays For a Sportsnet Central preview, here's Martin Gaillard. Thank you very much, Martin. We'll have that for you right after this game. Top of the order, Austin Jackson. Donaldson creeping in at third. Jackson shows bunt, pulls the bat back.
They are crashing hard on defense. As a hitter, this is where you want to just bunt it up the first base line. First baseman Justin Smoak's got to hold that runner on. The pitcher will cover the first base side here if he shows bunt again.
Ball and a strike. Donaldson crashing hard from third. Jackson has 3 sacrifice bunts. The Mariners have 21 for the season. Remember, they haven't scored many runs for the Mariners. 358 runs. Blue Jays are over 500. He bunts it foul up the first base line. He jammed at it and pushed it into foul ground.
Austin Jackson got the Mariners off against Martin Burley with the leadoff home run. Got that run back that Josh Donaldson provided in the first inning. One of the problems that the Mariners have had trying to score runs, you mentioned they haven't scored a lot of runs. They're number 1 and number 2 batters this year. Their on-base percentage combined, .283. That's the worst in Major League Baseball.
Breaking ball is popped in the air into shallow left. Carrera coming in. He gets there and makes the catch. So Jackson can't get the job done. Tepera gets him to fly out the left. Now Kyle Seager, he's had a good day at the plate as well. He's got a 2-hit game going. Breaking balls just off the plate inside.
He's a good hitter. He really winds up, if you will, as a hitter and gets everything into it. And I think a good breaking ball and off-speed pitch, maybe you can mess with his timing at the plate. He's in a nice little hot streak right now.
During his hit hot streak coming into this game, over the 5 games, he hit .375. You know, he's got a ways to go yet, batting .277 on this season, but he's swinging a hot bat now. Mariners have 12 hits. They've out-hit the Blue Jays 12-9. Just off the outside corner.
Well, if you feel confident that he is swinging a hot bat, I think you give him the option here if he wants to swing away at 3-0.
The way they're swinging, and you got the dangerous Cruz on deck as well. Taking all the way, 3-1. Seager walked ahead of the Cruz home run back in the second. Aaron Luke is loosening up for the Blue Jays. The Mariners, we mentioned their bats are heating up as a unit. Going back to game 2 in Detroit, they have collected hits 14, 11, 9, 9, 9, and today they have 12.
Tough to keep good hitters down, and there is a good hitting team here. You just have to bunch them all together and get hot together, which seems like they're starting to do.
3-1, 1 out. Ooh, good breaking ball. Threw it right under the hands of Seager. Tepera drops a good slider inside. The catcher Zunino's at first. He's not going anywhere. Cruz will be next. They just roll the dice on the possibility of a double play. He is running. Cut on and foul. I didn't think they'd run it.
I didn't think they would run either. But Lloyd McClendon is showing a lot of confidence in Kyle Seager that he's going to make contact. Maybe he takes it off now.
Three and two. 5-5 game. There goes Zunino. Another foul back. Blue Jays have turned a pair of double plays today. One in the third, one in the fourth. Not running here. Lifted to center. Pillar's got plenty of room. Seager is out on the fly to center. Nelson Cruz, a 2-hit afternoon. His last time up came in the seventh.
That's why we sit right now at 5-5 after a walk. It looked like a breaking ball from Bo Schultz. And look where this one ended up, right off the facing of that upper deck. Cruz with number 25 tied it up in the seventh inning with that long blast.
3 RBIs in the afternoon. He's reached 60 for the season.
Right up in that upper deck. That is a long way out there. It's just a mistake.
Rivera buried that breaking ball in the dirt. Martin made a nice play.
Boy, what a play by Russell. Ball bounced way out in front of home plate, but he's ready for it. And he keeps it in front of him.
Same spot. Rivera hanging on to that slider way too long, and he buried both of those pitches. Blue Jays are fortunate that Martin was able to square him up.
Another breaking ball. He's just overthrowing it right now, trying to get a little something more on it against a very dangerous hitter in Cruz.
Bo Schultz, Aaron Sanchez, now Ryan Tepera out of the Blue Jays bullpen. He went around. Cruz said, man, you got to check it first. Home plate umpire Chad Fairchild calls him for the swing.
Another slider. Yeah, he went around.
Two and one, 2 outs. Right on the corner. Ground ball. Reyes near second will go to the bag and end the inning. Tepera pitches out of the ninth. A leadoff single and nothing more.
the Blue Jays back to Rogers Center, and on Sunday, August 2nd, we offer the Welcome Mat as part of our long weekend in the city. The first 20,000 fans who check in with the Blue Jays and Royals on Sunday, August the 2nd will receive this Blue Jays Welcome Mat. Go to BlueJays.com for tickets. Guys, we've seen just about everything today. A couple of errors, a foul pop-up lost in the sun, a balk, a great play by Burley at first, a triple play, the roof open, roof closed, and of course, why not? Extra innings now.
It'll be the 13th extra inning game for the Mariners. It'll be the 7th for the Blue Jays. Mariners are 6-6. Blue Jays are 3-4.
They play more 1-2-run games than anybody in baseball. They're very familiar with this scenario right here, close ball games and extra inning games.
Left-hander Joe Beimel into the game to face Bautista to start the 10th.
There are the numbers for Beimel. He's given up 3 home runs in 30 innings this season. A guy who doesn't give up a lot of them in his career.
Bautista hitless in 4 at-bats.
You know, you were talking earlier about his hit streak against Seattle. He's also reached base against Seattle 36 straight games. Second longest current streak for any player against any team. So that's on the line, and he gets an extra shot here in extra innings.
Two balls and a strike. Now 3-1. Bautista with a terrific eye, but you know he's looking for something to swing at right here.
Someone in the stands.
And a home run cut. Brad Miller, the shortstop, really playing Bautista in the hole. He's right on the edge of the grass, deep at short. Chris Woodward, the infield coach, moving him around. Bautista drills it, but that's going to hook foul. It's like Beimel's trying to get that off-speed pitch down and into Bautista. Flirting with danger.
Flirting with danger. If you miss, look where those last couple pitches were, right there, right in his home run swing.
Line drive left field and deep. This ball is going to be caught right in front of the left field wall. Franklin Gutierrez ran it down. Looked like an off-speed pitch. He kind of reached for it and didn't really drive it as we're used to.
Yeah, threw his timing off ever so slightly, and he just couldn't get full extension and get everything into it. And it still hit it a long way. That's why you play the outfielders a few steps back like they are right now, so those balls, they don't go over your head for extra bases.
Edwin Encarnacion. Slow curveball catches the outside corner. Edwin 1 for 2 with a pair of walks. That's a foul ball. Hit it off the end of the bat down the left field line. Was out in front of that off-speed pitch. Beimel, quite a contrast to Mark Lowe, who worked 2 good innings. Lowe gave up back-to-back 2-out hits in the 9th, but stranded those 2 base runners. There's a high pop down the right side.
Well, he has to change speeds like that. Fastball, you can see, is just 89 miles an hour. And now Aaron Loop has Joey Roberto Osuna getting loose in the bullpen. Weimel went a whole year one time without giving up home run in 2008. Just knows how to pitch. Keep the ball off the barrel of the bat.
He doesn't overpower you. He just turn it over, run it down and away, take something off the curveball, run the cutter inside. He just wouldn't give in. He throws it down and away. Encarnacion strikes out, 2 down.
He'll cut the ball and he'll sink the ball. That time it looked like he turned it over just a little bit. Down and away from Encarnacion. Edwin trying to reach for it. You can see there's just nothing in there. That swing as it goes down and away.
Chris Colabello has grabbed a bat. He's made his way to home plate. He will pinch hit for Smoke. Smoke's a switch hitter. He started and went 1 for 4 in the game. Colabello coming off the bench. He had the game-winning base hit in yesterday's game. Colabello, 320 on the season with 9 home runs and 38 RBIs. Slow breaking ball.
Now with 2 outs and nobody on, if you're the batter, you're looking for something out over the plate for extra bases. You're looking for a gapper or something down the lines where you can get yourself into scoring position. He's had a lot of success versus the Mariners, hasn't he?
One of those home runs was against the closer at the time, Fernando Rodney, that came in a 9th inning at Rogers Center. We're in the 10th. Two and one. Devin Travis had a pinch hit base hit with 2 outs in the 9th. His first pinch hit appearance of his career.
Chris had a game winner earlier this year against his former team, Minnesota, when he homered. See if we can do it again.
Colabello thought that was off the plate outside. 2-2 now. You got to believe he's going to stay away from Colabello.
Yeah, he's trying to stay away from his power, so he can't get the extension and pull the ball out of here. We've seen Chris go to right field for a home run this year a few times.
That one's off the plate away. Colabello's hit in the 9th inning yesterday was off Carson Smith, the closer. So Russell Martin on deck. It's a full count to the pinch hitter, Colabello.
I'd still look out there. He's going to stay out there. If he comes inside, just react to it.
Pitches out over the plate. Trumbo, the first baseman, will lean into the seats, but it's back out of play. Didn't really get to the railing as quickly as he might have, and he's a big guy. He might have been able to reach in a little deeper.
Jump into the stands to make that play. You're right. He just didn't get to the stands quick enough. So Colabello gets another shot at it. Here it is right here. He's still a ways away from that railing.
Fernando Rodney cranking it up. This one is in the same area. Trumbo gets over, and this one is a little deeper into the seats. Chris Taylor, the second baseman, crashes into the wall and goes head first into the seats, but the ball was well back out of play. Rodney gave up the pinch hit home run to Carrera in yesterday's game. That was in the 8th. David Rollins, Mark Lowe, and now Joe Beimel for the Mariners, all in relief. Ground ball right to the shortstop. Miller has it. Beimel retires the side in order in the top of the 10th. Aaron Loup into the ball game to start the bottom of the 10th. Loup will pitch for the 45th time this season.
And the first time in this series against Seattle. Last worked on the 22nd at Oakland. And no decision, just threw 1/3 of an inning, had a walk against the A's. There are his numbers in 44 games. 2-4 with a 498 earned run average. He's only walked 6 batters this whole season. Chris Colabello stays in the game and takes over at first base, picking up Justin Smoke as we head to the bottom of the 10th.
The Mariners about hit the Blue Jays 12-9. Blue Jays jumped out to a 4-1 lead. Really gave up 2 runs in the 4th. Robinson Cano's the DH this afternoon.
Knows all about Aaron Loup from his days in the American League East with the Yankees.
Fights out that inside pitch. Cano is 4 for 13 against Aaron Loup, a 308 average.
We would see each other a lot when the Blue Jays would play the Yankees. And a lot of times late in the game he would come in, Aaron would come in to face Cano in these types of situations.
Boy, that's a tough pitch. That crossfire delivery, and he gets it down and away to Cano.
Not much he can do with that. Maybe foul it off. It's a fastball, and it's right on the outside corner.
That hit the umpire, Jim Joyce, and he's going to call it a foul ball. That ball looked like it was a fair ball. Boy, that hit Joyce hard as the ball sliced over the bag.
And they're going to call out the trainers here. George Poulos came out before the Blue Jays, and then Seattle came in. That one hit Jimmy straight on. Hit hard. You can see he's trying to get out of the way and got him right in the calf. Clearly a foul ball, first of all. I'll tell you, that ball comes right at you. You don't know where to go.
I'm sure you've been hit like that when you've batted. And that'll hit that big calf muscle and it'll just go numb on you. Or you lose all the feeling. I think that's what they're waiting for. See if you can get the feeling back in that right leg, trying to get out of the way. He jumped up and just couldn't get out of the way of that hot shot. Like a Charlie horse when you get hit in that big soft muscle.
Try to put some pressure on it, your whole leg goes out from under you. All the umpires, you can see them all over there with their buddy.
Yeah, he's going to leave the field as he's, well, maybe not. He's trying to walk it off, see if he can get some feeling back in that leg.
He is the crew chief with this four. Doesn't look like he could make it.
And I go back into the umpire's locker room and see if it will loosen up. And George Poulos is going to go down and see if he can help out. So Jim Joyce has left the field, and now Greg Gibson, the umpire at second, is going to go down, and I'm not sure what he's going to do. So now we're going to wait. Maybe they're going to go down and see if they can wrap it up or something before it starts to swell up on him, and then have him come back and take his position at third. Doesn't look like the umpires have any intent of continuing this game just right now. So Gibson is back, the umpire at second. And now these umpires, they have umpired in two-man crews in the minors and some three-man crews. So they're just talking about how they would rotate here if that's the way they choose to continue this inning.
And does it look like they're going to wait to see if Jimmy can make it, or are they going to continue until he might be able to come back? I'm not sure.
Yeah, now
something's going on.
Gibson is going to talk to Lloyd McClendon.
Cano was at first base thinking that maybe that was a fair ball, but now he's making his way back towards the home plate area. That was called foul by Jimmy Joyce.
Yeah, it was called foul. Joyce got hit, and then after he got his balance, he called it foul. And now McClendon is arguing the fact that he thought it was a fair ball.
Yeah, I think that's what this is all about. Robinson was down at first base.
Of course, you cannot challenge play on the field, fair or foul, until it gets to the outfield. And that was a ground ball, an infield ground ball. And let me take a look at it again. Cano just slices it down the third base line. Joyce gets hit, and then he turns around and calls it foul.
Yeah, he stayed with the play and then turned around and said foul ball. So I don't know what the argument is now. Meanwhile, Aaron Loop is just standing on the mound. He hasn't had a chance to stay loose.
So now it looks like Gibson will move to third. He'll ump over at third in place of Jim Joyce, who has left the field for the time being. Chad Fairchild behind the plate. Sam Holbrook is in at first base, and Gibson will man the third base line right now. So Cano with a 2-2 count. Aaron Luke Bottom of the 10th inning. It's a 5-5 ball game. That's Franklin Gutierrez, the left fielder. Full count. Bouncing ball. Travis to Colabello. Cano's retired, one down. That was a long at bat.
That was a very long at bat. Kudos to Aaron Loop, staying poised to retire. A very good hitter, Robinson Cano.
This is Franklin Gutierrez. He is got 0 for 3 with a walk this afternoon. And walk came in the 3rd inning. There's that changeup. Uses that very effectively against right-handed hitters. Bradley continues to warm for the Mariners.
Yeah, the changeup's a good pitch when it's thrown in a good spot, and you don't throw too many of them.
There's a deep drive to center. Pilar is back at the track, at the wall. Home run ball game. Franklin Gutierrez walks off the Blue Jays in the 10th. For Gutierrez, that's his 3rd home run of the season, and the Mariners win the series.
An 0-2 pitch from Aaron Loop. Looked like he was going to try and bust him inside to freeze him up just a little bit, and he threw it down the middle, and Gutierrez ends the game with one swing. Fastball out over the middle of the plate, and he hits it to the deepest part of the ballpark. Thought that it had a chance to stay in, and if it does, Pilar's going to catch it, but he runs out of room, and the Mariners win the series.
A disappointing end to the road trip. The Blue Jays will finish up 3-3 on the road trip. They'll have Monday off. We'll see you Tuesday night. The Phillies are at Rogers Center. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Here's Sportsnet Central.